Hi guys, today I'm going to touch on neurodivergency. Now this is a very private topic for me and I haven't covered it before because I had my own insecurities and concerns about addressing it. And over the last few months, I've realised that it's very common in our community to be neurodivergent. There's multiple layers of this, as you guys probably know if you experience it for yourself. May that be ADHD on different levels, autism, dyslexia, and sometimes a combination of all of those things. So I wanted to put myself out there today and say that I am indeed on the spectrum myself. There are days where I become completely overwhelmed by what is going on around me, and at my age now, at 35, I've learned a lot of coping mechanisms. I've understood how to manage myself in that regard, but there are still days where it has the better of me. Now, since we've entered the blessed month of Ramadan, I'm sure plenty of us that are on the spectrum have become overwhelmed and exacerbated by this process, as a lot of things, everyone has their own coping mechanisms. But for me personally, I drink a lot of drinks. It's very, I know it's not for everyone to understand. So if you're not on the spectrum, you probably won't get it. But usually I'll have a cup of tea, a can of fizzy drink and a water all in front of me all at the same time, and it stimulates different parts of my sensory system, and it just calms me down and relaxes me. And it's been something that I actually had before I was diagnosed, and then I came to realize like that's what I was doing. It was like a comfort thing, and I don't have that at the moment. I'm also getting up at times that it's a couple of hours earlier than what I'm used to, and then going to maybe lay back down or try to continue the day when my brain is quite scattered and not quite sure what to do. Also, it feels really insecure about the fact that this is only for a few weeks and then I have to go back to my normal schedule. Then what do I do with the schedule? And I can't cope with the schedule, but I really crave a schedule. And even though this is a beautiful time of year, and I personally really look forward to it, because I know this is the month where I can purify myself for all the mistakes and all the shortcomings that I have, and I can bear myself in front of Allah and say, look, this is me, these are my weaknesses, and please forgive me for them. But at the same time, the exacerbation mentally and emotionally is something that cannot be ignored. I've been recently listening to Scattered Minds by Gabor Mate, and that book alone has actually triggered me. It has actually brought up so many emotions, so much history, so much things that have, happened to me in the past, and I'm relating them and I'm reliving them, remembering how overwhelmed and exacerbated I was throughout my 20s. And alhamdulillah, I'm in a lot more control now than ever before. But when the physical symptoms and the psychological inability to focus on one thing starts kicking in, it genuinely is very much out of our control. And the more we try to control it, it's like grabbing sand in the palm of your hands. It just pours out the sides. And it's something that I notice comes over me when I start tripping over my words, or I'm stuttering, or I'm feeling really short-tempered, or I'm feeling like a lot of sensory sensitivity, like I'm itchy and I'm bothered, and I just can't seem to get hold of it. And that's been very much my experience only a couple of days into Ramadan. And the previous me would have scolded myself for being weak, for being pathetic, for not having enough endurance. And I really thought it's important for me to do this message today, because I know there's so many of us that struggle with this. And in the South Asian community, it's a taboo, it's ostracized or ignored. It's not even considered as a real thing. You're just a destructive, distracted individual, when actually there's a whole experience going on inside someone who is on the spectrum that they can't always articulate. And I've never before thought, oh, let me do a post on it and let me talk about it, because actually I'm quite at one with my diagnosis, and I understand that when I'm going through these phases and I recognize them and like where I need to pull and push and maybe give myself some space, or maybe make the other person aware, like I can't engage right now, or I'll be back, or whatever it may be. Whereas before I would just disappear off the face of the earth, right? So what I'm trying to say is, if anyone during this month is struggling with your symptoms of neurodivergency, you are going to be okay. From the research and the learnings that I've done, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is looking at your niyyah. He's looking at your intention. He's looking at how much energy do you put into fighting these things, but also realizing you're not here to torment yourself. Take a deep breath. Communicate with people around you, even if you feel ashamed. Because our reality is our reality. And there's nothing that's going to change that. And that was one of the things I had to come to terms with in my life, that I'm not going to be able to ever cure myself of this. I'm never going to be able to get rid of it. And I used to treat it like, like an illness. And that's where we need to change things around. We need to get rid of the illness model. And we need to put in the fact that some people are just spicier than others. And some people have a lot more going on physically, mentally, and emotionally than others. And we need to have some grace for ourselves, as well as putting in the hard work to try and manage it. And that's something that I try to practice. I'm open with my close circle of people when I do feel like I can't. I am feeling overwhelmed. And another thing I would say is, please be open to the support and the love that you get. And I first and foremost give that advice to myself, because I know when people try to comfort me, I run away because I want to shut down. I want to go in my little cave and I just don't want to ever come out. But actually, there are plenty of people in this world that really want to be there. They want to support, they want to love, they want to help you through this journey. Let them do it. And as I said, I am trying to implement that for myself, that advice for myself first and foremost. But in the mental space that I'm in at the moment, I was like, no, if I'm here, there must be hundreds, if not thousands of us all over the world experiencing such a tough initial week of Ramadan, because it's such a drastic change in routine. People that are neurodivergent, we feel things very deeply. It might not just be mentally, emotionally, but physically we feel it. So when you're eating at times that you're not usually supposed to be eating, and then you're exhausted and you're going through a long period of time where you're not able to engage in the comforting habits that you have, and that comfort's been taken away from you. I understand how that feels. And it's all going to be okay. And if you feel like you need more one-to-one support, you can always contact me and we can arrange a session together. Or you can come and join my It's Not You, It's Me community. So you go into my link tree, fill out the meet and greet form. It soon will be changed to It's Not You, It's Me community group form. Fill it in, join our community, and let's create some togetherness. So people who of South Asian and any ethnic background, especially if you guys are Muslims, because for some reason our community tends to shun a lot of these things and not take them into consideration. Like, my community is here to support you, and so am I. So best of luck during this month, and I understand more than you know.